California Congressman Kevin McCarthy, Republican and House Majority Whip. Talked to him a bit earlier about that idea and how it could go over. Kevin McCarthy, good morning and welcome back here to America's Newsroom.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Just reflect on what you heard from the House Democrats, a budget with $1.2 trillion in taxes, $200 billion in stimulus, which is about twice the amount we heard from Senate Democrats last week.
It's the same failed policies of the past. I mean, if you compare, look at this. The Republican plan balances in 10 years. The Democrat plan never balances, but goes back to more taxes and more spending. That's a failed future for us, and that's why we'll have this debate. And the Republican plan could actually put us back to work, balance the budget, which would take less money for government, put more money in the private sector, that would create more jobs through small business.
Well, Chris Van Hollen, who was with us last week, your Democratic colleague, he came with some spirit and some vigor, and he was pushing back in a significant way. This is what he says about the House Republican plan. His idea will accelerate economic recovery, and he also talks about how it will grow jobs, and your plan will shrink jobs. What do you think of that?
Well, I think he's wrong, and it's not just me who thinks it's wrong. First, read what the Washington Post, that's not known for being a Republican paper. They say that the Democrats have no idea about the fiscal mess that's going on. And then read the Wall Street Journal article today that has two economists from Stanford, you know, that little college over on the west side of our country. They say the Republican plan will actually boost economic growth by 1% in 2014, which means $1,500 to every family, and increase it by 3% in the out years, which would mean $4,500 almost to every single family. That's somebody analyzing it. That's an economist, John Taylor, and he's a known economist out there that I believe is a better and fairer measurement of what two futures hold.
State of California. Now listen, on the Senate Democratic plan, okay, now this is something you guys have been pushing now for 1,400 and some odd days. It's been more than 4 years. Senate Democrats showed their hand last week in 3 areas when it comes to Obamacare. The House plan will eliminate Obamacare. The Senate plan will keep it. On Medicare, the House plan will go to a voucher-like model. The Senate Democratic plan, modest cuts to providers. Social Security, the call on the President, Congress to address the issue. Senate Democratic plan, no specifics. Which way is Washington moving?
Well, hopefully Washington is moving the way the country wants to move, that they want to save Medicare, so they'll look to the Republican plan. The other 2 items in our plan that's not mentioned is overall tax reform, where we close the loopholes and lower the rate so individuals could get more money. Instead of on the Democrat side, they close loopholes to keep wasting money in government. The other item is that we do energy reform, where we become energy independent. Creates jobs in America, but also lowers the price of gasoline and lowers the price of natural gas that we see today, that creates new manufacturing jobs in America. So when you look at an overall plan, do you want more taxes, more spending, or do you want the country to grow in the Republican plan that we have?
Well, now you get your wish, because you see their plan, and we see your plan publicly as well. And now there will be some sort of reconciliation if you want to get to a grand bargain. And ultimately, what you find here is either Republicans are going to have to give on the tax issue, or Democrats are going to have to give on the entitlement issue, or perhaps both. Do you see either one happening now to get that big deal?
Well, you know what? The president, he already took $600 billion. Every single viewer that's watching today that has a job is getting less coming home because the president took $600 billion out of their paycheck. So you have the taxes, so you have the revenue. What you need now is to curb the spending. This is a spending problem in Washington, D.C. That's why the Republican plan, when you look at what John Taylor says, lets you grow the economy, which creates equivalent $1,500 into every family's pocket. That is a positive experience with more people working, more money for you, a stronger energy policy, a fairer and simpler tax proposal that we have out there. That is a new America instead of going back to the old way. And the one person who's missing in all this is the president. Remember, presidents are supposed to submit a budget by the first Monday in February. Now, he's never missed turning in his March Madness bracket, but 4 out of 5 years he's missed turning in a budget.
Tournament starts tonight. Play on. Kevin McCarthy, thank you for your time on the Hill today.
Thanks for having me.